McClunky. Sorry, I zoned out for a second.
Fucking
My
Christ,
clunky.
like, literally the 1 second before we go live, you son of a bitch. Jesus.
Sorry, I was like, why is he counting down?
Yeah, it's almost as if I count down before every episode of the show.
I know, right?
Welcome, everybody, to our Andor Episode 7 discussion. We are here to discuss this exciting show for Kaz. Oh boy.
Don't put me on a fucking pedestal. You know, like, you know what was happening in VC earlier.
We didn't have Richard on last week, I believe, right, Richard? You didn't get to talk about the Eye episode?
I did miss last week.
What did you think about last week, Richard? Let's get that.
I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah?
Really good. It was a very tense episode. Character motivations were revealed. I was wrong. I thought there was going to be a side plot to the heist. But, I mean, I guess there kind of was towards the end with everyone having putting themselves above the others. But it was a good episode overall.
Yeah, I would agree with the tense thing. Like, that episode, for sure, like, I felt it in my leggies the whole time. Like, they were, like, literally shaking.
I feel like the show is kind of finding its own identity right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I did. I will agree with Richard. I think like that, like yeah, tensest episode, and for me was my favorite episode. But that wasn't hard talk.
Yeah, for me and Kaz, at least, like the episodes before have been kind of meandering a little. So I would feel as though, of course, this last episode that was pretty much all excitement and really well done tension building as well, like the entire time. So I mean, like that was so much my episode. So this episode was still really good, like kind of like falling off of that tension, but like still building to, because I went into this episode knowing something apparently that the director had said that this episode, because we've been following the 3 structure before this, the director apparently said that this episode was going to be a solo one, and then it would be 2 and 1 as like the next arcs. But I don't think that that's true from what I've gathered. I don't know, like, because I feel like we're going into Andor in prison and he'll escape, and then third episode, not in the next episode, but in the third episode of this arc, he'd probably escape, and it would be the big escape episode. That's my prediction already. But how did you guys feel about the episode?
I thought it was pretty alright, pretty slow paced in my opinion, but it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was mostly good with a couple of hiccups that I think just come down to like a time slot problem. Like this episode felt like, I almost don't want to say this, but I feel like this episode would have been better if it was a little bit longer.
Really?
When talk about like if we go to the ending, actually, like, I think that's worth adding. Like I think like when Sam was like, "This is where they end the episode."
Mm-hmm.
Like that, if it went for a bit longer, that would have I think that ending scene would have looked stronger.
Yeah, well, because it would have made more
that's
sense.
Exactly what I mean.
Because like he gets in
things
prison,
happen so fast,
and then it cuts to him, or it cuts to. Oh wait, now I forget his goddamn name. Cyril. It cuts to Cyril in the booth, and it's just like, now we're done. And it was like, what a weird choice.
Yeah,
do
I
that.
actually thought that I missed something. I even rewinded. Like, did I miss something, or did they just like wrap that shit up real quick?
Yeah.
That's my thing. I feel like the episodes always end in an odd place. Like, I've never been fully I mean, you're not supposed to be, I guess, fully satisfied by the episode because the whole season is coming. Sure, but I feel like an episode should still leave you with, like, a better feeling in your stomach, in a sense. But that ending did get me. I definitely was.
I didn't actually mind the ending. I actually thought the ending was appropriate. I felt like what led up to it, though, like, Cassian gets to Space Miami and is immediately arrested and immediately thrown in prison. And it's like, okay, that was fast.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like that happened way too quick. Like, how long was he there? Like, I don't even know. He just goes from, I got money, to being on Space Miami, which we see for 25 seconds, which is pretty cool. And then he's in jail. That's it.
Yeah. I think it's hilarious how, like, he's there for, like, 2-3 scenes, I think, or up to 4 scenes before, like, as up to the point he gets arrested. And like, was that him on holiday? Because like, boy.
Right, like we barely even get to see him actually do anything. I feel like he was just immediately arrested. And I guess part of it's because, like, I think they did do a small time skip there where, like, we don't know how long he's been there. But it just kind of felt like really, really fast. And like, I mean, it was cool seeing like the Empire's whatever they're called, the droids, the big cool looking droids. Seeing them do stuff. It's always good to see sand troopers. I love sand troopers.
See, I went through
But,
through like 3 different names for them, and because I always called them or no, what did I call them? Fuck, what?
Beatniks.
I think I called them. What did you just call them? Sand troopers or
Sand troopers.
I called them beach troopers, but then the subtitles called them shore troopers, and I was like, okay, cool. I
Shore,
like that.
shore troopers. That's actually what they are. Sand troopers are the ones on Tatooine.
Yeah,
The shore
with
troopers are the
fucking
same ones that are
shoulder
shown
pad. I'm
in.
like, what a weird difference.
Yeah,
Nah, but
it's a
I
callback to
like-
Rogue One where they were introduced.
Yeah,
but
the scare. Like, 'cause I think that in the
it's so
Funko
cool to
Pops
see
they're
them.
called Scarif troopers and that, and I was like, that's way too specific. You can't just be having troopers on Scarif that look like this. Come on. It was a cool design. I loved it.
What the hell was the shore trooper talking about when he was asking Cassian, like, "Are you part of it?"
In the prior scene, there were people running away from 2 shore troopers, and
Yeah,
I imagine that he was referring to that. Like, and then we see the people following them, and
Like-
or not following, but like coming towards the.
Well, like
There.
even Cassian is just like, what are you talking about? Like, like I feel like him just jumping in there, be like, "Where you run from?" He's like, what?" Like, sort of like genuine confusion.
And I think that like it did a really good job. Like, I agree with what you're saying, Richard, where like it felt very fast, the ending part of this episode, but I think that if that had been in its own episode, like where we had spent time here or something, I think that would have done better for me in a sense. Because yeah, like that scene is good because I do like the idea that this trooper is just. It's not that I'm not saying that he's good because he's definitely a shithead, but he's probing this guy intensely because he might be involved. You never really know. Like, he might be lying about what is the.
and he did look shady too, to be fair. But I also think that like that whole scene felt really questionable to me because it's like Cassian Andor was like a career criminal. Why is he acting so stupid here? Like,
Well-
he's just running just to run.
To be fair, he's not running. He is just walking normally. Like he looks suspicious because he's all looking around and shit. To be fair, but like
No, he ran up the stairs.
Did he?
He like
He like
yeah.
jogged. He
He
jogged.
turns
like-
around. He sees the shore troopers running. They're clearly not after him. And then he turns around and he like quickly paces up the stairs and is like looking over his shoulders, all shady like.
Mm.
And it's like it's obvious he's shady. And I just felt like, why is he acting like this? He didn't do anything wrong. Just act like a normal person, and you're not going to get arrested.
I don't know. I'm rewatching it right now, and like everything he's doing, like I don't like. The only thing to me is that he's looking around a lot, and that is
Yeah, I think like there's
just
like
normal
I mean,
potentially to an extent, right? Like it's hard. I do think that the shore trooper is looking for that stuff. I get you.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's
it
hard.
almost
I
comes
think-
across like the shore trooper's a jerk, but like I don't really think he did anything wrong.
He asked questions. I think it
I would have probed him too. Like, what the hell are you
led
looking
to,
around
like,
for?
An extreme situation where it was unnecessary, is what I'll say. Because I think that him even getting like imprisoned in a sense is just an ineptitude on the Empire in a sense, right? Because it's like, yeah, we're just gonna put you in prison just because you might have been involved potentially,
Hmm.
and we're not even gonna question
Yeah.
you about it. So
I thought that like there was like some kind of subtext. Like, is there like a surprise party? And like the shore trooper is asking like if Cassian's part of it.
Because
Like,
the
I was
scene
thinking like, are they
before-
going to be like there's like a party that he thinks he's going to, or like what is this?
the scene before when they were like when all the ISB people were talking, they were saying that henceforth that like even if they're suspected of being a part of like the resistance, then it'll be a capital punishment.
I guess
Got
that's
him.
true. Yeah, like you got me there with that. Like even if he has like a slight suspicion, I guess that we know that the Empire is just evil. Like they're not good people.
Yeah.
So they're willing to just do shit like that. But it's just like, because like it's just feeling bad for Cassian, really.
Yeah.
Oh, KX
Yeah.
units. That's what they are. They're KX.
This
units.
is like the first time like where it's just Cassian genuinely didn't do anything wrong, and he still got punished for it.
Yeah, right. I do love seeing those droids. What are the KS units?
The KX droids. Yeah.
I love them. They're so cool. They're really intimidating, and it's cool to see that like just how threatening they are.
I think they're missing something though, like maybe like Alan Tudyk's voice or something like that.
It would.
Yeah, or like
I
a
actually-
gun.
I actually did think that like it was going to be K2SO, but I knew that like it wouldn't. I figured it would be him, but just for like a scene. You know what I mean? Like it would just be like
Yeah.
alluding to the fact that this is that one, but it's going to be later on that like they meet again and just happen to like I don't know. That might be too convenient. but
Man,
still.
when we first met, you were choking me.
Yeah.
Oh, those were the good times.
So there's a huge Easter egg in this episode. Did you guys catch it?
Oh shit! Where was it? Where was it? Is it in the museum?
Yeah.
What was it this
Imagine-
time?
Imagine if I caught it. Sorry,
So-
this is me being stupid.
Let me go back to that scene. What was it? Goddamn.
Galen Merrick's armor, Starkiller.
Oh.
Starkiller's armor is in the episode.
Richard, where have you been?
That was in episode 1 or 2.
That was in like the.
Was it really?
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't
Yeah,
know if you
that
might
was
not
it
have been
ages
there.
ago.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we know. Yeah. That's a hype one, though. I guess. Sorry to
Yeah,
take
no,
that
like,
away
sir-
from you, but like, yeah.
Well, that was pretty
I
cool.
thought it
to
was
see.
pretty
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, like because like that's I think the coolest armor I think personally in Star Wars.
Yeah, I
Really?
do hope that they're. I think so too.
Like,
I do
wow-
hope that
wow.
they're not trying to recanonize Starkiller though. 'Cause
No, I don't think-
Starkiller's stupid.
I don't think they are. I just think it's like, hey, people who know what this is, here's like.
Yeah, I
cool
think it's
armor.
just a nod.
I mean, cause like isn't like it like inspired like isn't it like the like Jedi killer like armor like that's like
It's
Jedi
Sith
hunters from
assassin
the old
armor.
yeah like isn't it from like I assume it's from Old Republic kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
possibly, yeah. So it probably is just like someone else's in the universe.
Hmm.
But I did think it was cool when that initially showed up, yeah.
Yeah, no.
I don't know about my favorite outfit. That's hard. That's a really hard one for me. Yeah, it's a cool outfit. It's a cool secret. Not secret, but like special unlock? What was it?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it is because you get it only at the end.
Only at the end. Okay.
yeah, it's at the very end. Yeah, one of the things that I liked about this episode and just this show in general is just kind of seeing more of like day-to-day Star Wars life. Like I loved seeing Space Miami. I'm not even going to call it anything else, even though they showed the name of it because it's
You know,
basically
it
just
was
Space
like
Miami.
it was pretty like when the music like this is like the music changes well. I appreciate that. Like how
Yeah,
like,
it,
it was
feels different, but it's still within the
Yeah.
realm of Star Wars. And seeing like I don't remember his name, the corpo guy, seeing him like
Zero.
working in like a Star Wars cubicle, like I actually like seeing that stuff. Like this is just like a regular job, and I think that stuff's cool to see from like a world building perspective.
Mm.
Because I'm of the mind that Star Wars is at its best when it's as far away from Skywalker Jedi bullshit as possible.
Yeah, like I would agree to an extent. Like I found like that the worst parts of Mando season 2 was at the end when Luke had to show up, and it was like really like that
Mhm.
pissed me off at the time. I remember being really genuinely like irked that all was going down.
I like the scene, and I do like Jedi stuff. Who doesn't? But I
Well,
want
like-
more from Star Wars than just constant Jedi shit.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't always have to go back to these core things. And I know I'm gonna
Right.
say
I
that,
think-
and then I say shit in this show probably where it's like, but it should be doing more of this. I'm sorry, I'm a hypocrite. I'm the worst.
I mean, like we're as humans, we are contradictory creatures.
Yeah.
I like my thoughts on it. Like, yeah, I'm like, for me, it's like I don't mind seeing Jedi. I just don't want to see like, we've seen enough of like the core characters.
Yes,
I'm
that's
happy
how
to
I
see
feel
it.
too. I don't want to
And,
see
like-
so much of like Skywalker, Kenobi, Palpatine,
Yeah.
Jedi. I want like new stuff, please. Like I'm honestly dreading the Ahsoka stuff because they're gonna do the same thing that Disney's been doing with everything, and just it's gonna tie everything back into it.
I don't know, man. That
just
one
don't want
is-
that.
Like to an extent, I need because after Rebels ended the way that it ended, I think a lot of people are looking forward to that show being that almost
The
you know, like-
conclusion for it.
like the
Then
completion.
wasn't someone cast as Ezra Bridger?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the Aladdin guy was. I might be wrong about that. Don't quote me.
Ezra Bridger, Iman Esfandi.
Oh, he looks great. Like that guy looks like Ezra. It's weird.
Yeah, he looks like an older Ezra. It'll work.
Yeah,
If you guys can
that's
hold
great
down the fort for a
casting.
hot second, I will be right back. I just have to go do something in the house.
I do love seeing this like slice of life Star Wars stuff though, and like I love seeing what's his face having to like basically like fuck up a job interview.
Mm.
That was pretty funny to me, where he's like explaining in detail what he did, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I don't care, man.
I don't care.
Just go sit
Yeah.
down."
It so like I feel like I'm very much against the show, like when like with the whole Andor stuff. You know, again, like following like just like the slice of life stuff. And like I think it's because I'm not like I find it hard to focus when I'm watching the show. I am just like my brain just wants to go away. It didn't help out.
felt
Like,
that this episode for sure.
yeah, like this definitely. To be fair, this one, like I feel like I had the entire universe was like, nah, you don't want to watch this. Like we were all hanging out in VC, and like it was like, nah, you ain't getting a chance to watch this episode. So like I was every now and then I was coming in, like and like seeing the little things. Like I wasn't able to focus on a lot of the dialogue, but like just seeing the little things. It's I think that's what I like about Andor, and like the music I've been enjoying.
The music's great. I think that a lot of the
set design.
Disney Plus format, from MCU to Star Wars, the problem to me comes down to pacing issues.
Yeah.
I think even She-Hulk could have been fixed if they would stop trying to like make things super duper long and just make a miniseries, please. Like give me a 3-episode miniseries for Andor, and that would have been so much better than having basically whole episodes where nothing happens. I'd like that a lot more. I think all of their content could benefit from that.
Yeah.
Well, like I think that's just like the weird bit. Like She-Hulk could have been this like same length it was, but like the way they did it was like they did a bunch of random bullshit in the middle and then rushed the ending. Where it's like why didn't you like plan out the fucking entire thing instead of just having random bullshit in the middle? Like you could have had the same episode length, but like have a slower burn with the middle stuff instead of just having random weddings and bullshit and shit going down like that.
Yeah, I feel like with Andor specifically, like episodes 2 and 3 could have just been one episode.
Yeah,
we don't need so like episode 2 is just build up to episode 3, and I don't like it when TV shows do that. And I'm a patient guy when it comes to TV. I can watch through that stuff, but still.
When me and Sam were watching, we were like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be the episode where the eye stuff happens." And like, to be honest, like when the eye stuff happened, I was not expecting that. I thought it was like gonna be like fucking space battles or shit. But no, I think that was like it was still cool for what it was. But yeah, I think, yeah,
that's another thing that I loved in that episode is seeing like just getting to see a new culture of people in Star Wars.
That I will also agree. I did like that. And I think for this episode, I think it just doesn't help how it came off of that episode.
Yeah,
Star Wars could be something so grand and like they could do anything in it and it'll still kind of make sense. But like the way they've been doing it so far is really low effort, where it's just like the same sets, the same people, the same things over and over again.
Always on Tatooine, constant desert planets, and
deserts, forests. But like they could do like
super hard on it.
Crazy fucking planets. Like we could have a fucking planet where like there's like square mountains that just float in the sky all the time. It's like that would be cool.
You can even have like Space Miami. Like that was like
that was great.
Not
only is it just a cool setting, but I thought it was just neat to see people on vacation in Star Wars.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of like the aftermath and just the happy like the positive side to the universe thing, because like all the stories tend to be very much like action and adventure kind of shit.
Well, you know,
they don't get to
Space
slow
Miami
down.
Even cooler if they altered it to have like the water glows like a vibrant sparkly
pink or
purple.
something. Yeah,
have some crazy effect on there. Yeah, where like this water's a little bit different. That's why.
Because I think it was like
it's just normal water then. You know, like make it fucking
like,
space, man.
And seeing like a shirtless alien playing another shirtless alien, like playing Dejarik on the beach, was like neat. That's just cool to see. Like we've just never seen anything like that in Star Wars, and I know it doesn't really do much as far as like plot goes, but I like seeing that stuff.
Yeah, like having a living world, I think is important. That's why like try to emulate like D&D and stuff is like have things that feel like they have been going on for a while, or like they are important to their own story.
I think this stuff kind of builds into the idea too of like the Empire did nothing wrong, because like they're assholes. Everybody knows that, but at the same time, there are people just enjoying being on vacation on the beach during the Empire's rule because there is no war. So that's kind of important. Like, speaking of war, go ahead, Kaz.
No. Like with that, I think it could just be that like it's not like that area wasn't in any. Because I always just assumed the Empire's just doing scudgy shit somewhere else. Essentially, they're focusing. Like I think like they're not like spreading themselves too thin. They would focus when they wanted to fuck something up. They would pick a space and then fuck it up.
A lore perspective
and then,
too. I wanted to know more of like, where is this planet? Is this on like the outer rim? Is this like a one of the core worlds? Like, where is this planet located? Because the Empire is more focused on the core worlds in the middle.
Mm.
The outer stuff they have less of a presence on. So I kind of
There's also like
see,
the
where's
money
this at?
thing. There's also on like what's like because like I assume like the richer planets are less fucked in the situation if like they like concede to the Empire. Like Kate, like I know like we don't want like you guys don't want Force Unleashed to be canon, but like Kate and Media in the Force Unleashed 2, it looks pretty fancy when like they're like having like arenas and tournaments and shit. Like they had the Empire in place, but like people were essentially able to like go and watch these events and just do their own thing on the planet.
Yeah, true. I like another little thing too, where the Empire, I can't remember what they are, like all the guys in the white suits, how they
Yeah, the
refer
officers.
to Palpatine as Emperor Palpatine. I know that's a little thing, but like just the fact that they are calling him Emperor Palpatine and not Darth Sidious is, I think, staying with the consistency of it, because not many people even know that he's a Sith Lord.
Yeah, like do they do that?
I don't recall any instances of anyone calling him Darth Sidious in the movies or any of the shows.
Yeah, because I don't remember in the movies, but like,
yeah, he's supposed to be known as Emperor Palpatine. The vast majority of people do not even know that he's a Sith Lord, even now, even in the reign of the Empire. That's why, like in A New Hope, like they don't even believe that Vader has Force powers, you know, because most people just don't believe it, which is weird. But
I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. I am watching over a dog right now that is a pain in the ass, and oh boy.
No worries. It reminds me of how like, well, just want like the world building and just like stuff. Like it reminds me of how like in D&D where you get players that are atheists. I'm like, how? Like I can't see like you see God beings exist and giving magic to people.
They are tangible.
I don't believe in this shit. I'm like, where?
I believe you got your magic from something else.
Where? Like, where is it? You
possibly have gotten my magic from?
That cleric there is talking to his god right fucking now, and you're like, nah, he's fake.
Like this guy's like God sent a fucking wrathful being down to beat the shit out of him, and you're saying he's not real?
Even in my first ever campaign, like where I just got into the hobby, like I saw people like there was one player that did that. I'm like, excuse me. Like gods exist. I told you. Like these things, like they're
I guess it's just like reinforcing like real life, like
I guess like there's a
like,
realism.
The fact that you don't believe in God means that he's real, because there has to be something to not believe in. It's like oh, what the fuck are you saying right now?
it's just so weird to me.
How'd you guys feel about getting to see clone troopers?
I was very happy about that. Yeah, Kaz, Mr. I'm not fucking watching the show. You missed the entire flashback that happened.
I saw like there was a flashback thing happening. I didn't realize there was a flashback at the time.
Yeah, I think it's
those
really
clones.
Cool to see, like, yeah, those were clone troopers.
Yeah, the implication there being that it was very early days of the Empire. Like, oof.
Oh, when Cassian was like when like the CIS things that are happening.
Yeah, we're getting to see kind of explore a little bit of like Cassian's trauma.
Yeah, like you know what? I completely
troopers and shit.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that shit even happening.
If they're clone troopers, this is I'm diving deep into the lore here, but at that time period, it's questionable as to whether or not they're actual clone troopers or enlisted stormtroopers still wearing clone armor. It's hard to say.
I would be the problem is we don't really know when it is, right? Like that's the thing. Like if it was like I'd say the first year or two or three, like they'd still have a couple clone troopers run around within the ranks, but like they are phasing.
I'm only going on their armor design. I'm a complete nerd for Star Wars armor design. You guys, I've talked about this. I make Star Wars armor. Those specific clone troopers that they show are wearing 99% stormtrooper armor, and only the helmets are late era clone trooper armor or helmets. So I think it is actually debatable as to whether or not they're actually clones. But it was cool to kind of see a call back to that era in the Empire.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's like when like they stop it switching out.
I think the implication is that they are clones, because like this is the other thing about this. There's one shot from the trailer, and I hate going off of that kind of thing because it makes me be like, oh, this is coming. But there's a shot in the trailer of like clones on Kamino like being, like doing shit. So I just think that we're gonna see a little bit more of that. So it's all gonna connect into being the clones. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a huge aspect of the story per se, but I just think that is what it is.
No, it's not. I just love seeing it.
It's always just kind of like
I
an
love seeing that
implication of
stuff.
like when we are, I think, is like this indicates, okay, we're right after Order 66, not right after, of course, but like we're at a time frame where like the armor is still that.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of anything in Star Wars that explores that, because there's so little that shows the sort of early Empire era. Like Bad Batch shows a little bit of it. That transition from like clone troopers to enlisted stormtroopers is something that just isn't really, we don't know a lot about that time period. So it's cool to see anything that shows that.
I can't remember in Bad Batch, did they show like, because there was the Republic Commandos were training like the new stormtroopers and stuff like that, but what kind of outfits were they wearing in that show? Were they in like a stormtrooper getup already, or what was it looking like?
The Republic Commandos are wearing Republic Commando armor.
No, but like the people that they're training, like the troopers that they're training, like are they wearing?
They were wearing
outfits, or
no? They're wearing the exact same outfits we saw in this show, like early clone stormtrooper, late clone trooper armor, where it's mostly stormtrooper, but with like late era clone trooper helmets.
Gotcha.
Which look primarily the same as the early clone trooper helmets. They just don't have the ridge on the top. So they have a dome on the top, but it has the same kind of like Mandalorian tee as the early ones. I love that stuff. It makes me happy anytime I get to see different armor in Star Wars being used in a way like that. And I'm curious too, because typically in these shows, when they show large batches of stormtroopers, those are fans. They're typically using the 501st Stormtrooper League. So I wonder if that might have been the 501. Could have been them.
It is pretty neat how they do that.
I know that it was in season 1 of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
of
when
the
you're saying,
stormtroopers that they show in that are the 501st. Otherwise, I thought this episode was pretty
Oh,
boring.
hello, are you guys talking right now?
Yeah.
Hello.
What's the
Hello?
Sorry, 1 second, folks. Hello? And we're good again. Sorry.
It's like a lot of subtle things
cool
happen.
implications, but as far as like plot goes, Andor was really slow burning with low lows and high highs.
Very high highs. Whenever like good shit is happening, it's really, really good. Like,
yeah,
I'll
I
give
don't
it
ever
that.
think it's bad. I just think it's really slow. Like, there's not a lot to talk about this episode. Not a whole lot happened, other than I guess seeing like Mothma, begin to expand the rebellion a little bit.
Well, not even her.
I think is
Not even her at all.
kind
Like,
of
it's Luthen is like more of like the pushing one on that front. I've noticed, right? Like that she is. And even this is like a dig a little bit in the last episode to the lore, but she mentions the Gormans, and that is the Gorman situation is what leads to her doing the speech and the fuck you to Palpatine in Rebels. So it's all like building towards that. I feel. I mean, again, it's a deep cut that maybe not everyone is going to know, right? Because maybe some people haven't watched Rebels, of course, so it might not come into play that effectively. But
I think it's cool to show that like his name's Luthen.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see how Luthen is this representation of how the rebels aren't all good. Like what he's doing, he's kind of like, people are gonna have to die for this to work. And that kind of puts him in like a more morally gray area where it's like what he's doing is unquestionably bad, but it's for the greater good.
Yeah.
I like the way he put it too, where it's like the choking slowly thing, where it's like, yeah, like we need them to start doing bad shit that's intense so that people have more of a stake going into this war, pretty much. So that like if they keep doing shit, more people are going to have their own personal wars against the Empire.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I've always kind of had the belief that the alliance, the Rebel Alliance, isn't exactly good. They're just another side of a political war.
Coin, yeah. It's like in Transformers. The Decepticons and the Autobots, they want the same thing.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting you say that because like there was that one character that like we talk like in the last episode mentioning how like what the Stormtroopers did to her family. It's like maybe Luthen's entire like that group that like was at the Eye. They were all picked because they had personal wars with the Empire, and so they had a reason.
Well, that's sort of what they said is like with like Skeen was like everyone has their own reason.
No,
for
exactly.
being a rebel.
No, exactly, yeah. Like, and I think that's nice that like that's called back.
Yeah,
I'm struggling to think of anything else to even say about this episode. Nothing really happened.
I liked it. Also showed like a little bit of like the dynamic between Luthen and I don't know her name, but Luthen and his like assistant lady that she is almost. Yep.
I think like she's almost like shisty. Like
You think she's shisty? Okay.
I got
like,
that impression too.
Yeah, because like when she was listening in, she's sort of just like, I don't know, man. I think she might turncoat.
I don't think that
I
she'll
think it was
turncoat. I
odd.
think that she's just extremist rebellion kind of person. Like I think that.
Yeah,
that's,
she could be like Saw
She's fucking
Gerrera level.
Bomb someone like.
well, even what she was saying to
that's
Vel,
like
like she
Saw
was pretty
Gerrera's
much
whole thing.
saying, like, yeah, like people are gonna die. We need it to happen sometimes. Like, fuck it. I don't know exactly what she said, but it was along those lines at least.
Yeah, and that does go back to one of the things they mentioned in I think episode 2, how like there are multiple factions of rebels and they don't all see eye to eye.
Yeah. It's only when Mon Mothma does her speech that all the cells come together into the Rebel Alliance. And even then afterwards, some of them fuck off because like they're like, we're too like the partisans, like Saw Gerrera's group. They're like, we're too extreme for you people, we're gonna fucking bounce.
Yeah. I definitely got the impression that there might be something up with her, because I felt like why else would they show her listening into the conversation? I don't see really what that did for the story, other than to show us like, hey, maybe pay attention to her.
Well, I just think we have to pay attention to her because she is like, I almost think that she's more of the force here than Luthen is almost. Like it feels like every time that they talk about it, she is the more stern one, the more like grounded one, and Luthen is worried, right? Like he was on the radio a few episodes ago, like waiting, but she was like, you got to put it down. We got to be focused and serious about this shit. I think that he's like, I wouldn't say that he's getting pushed around by her, but like she seems to be the one in charge almost.
Well, it makes me wonder if maybe she's actually pro rebellion and Luthen has ulterior motives that we don't know about yet.
Oh, I bet he does. He seems like the kind of guy that would.
Yeah, he seems super duper shady.
Yeah, and
like, I still don't know what his whole deal is. Like, how does he have all this stuff?
I imagine
what
that
is
by
going
the
on
end
with
of this show, that is going to be destroyed. Like, I think that cache of stuff is going to be either like repossessed by the Empire or like.
And Sidious's like, sick. I got some fresh Sith armor.
Oh, look at me! And like we see a scene of him like fucking Fortnite dancing at her or some shit.
That's interesting. Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to mention like how like isn't like Palpatine into like history and shit.
Yeah, he absolutely he collects relics of like things. It's almost reminiscent of Hitler, right? I think that's what they're going for, where it's like this guy wanted to collect relics that might give him more power in like a crazy way, right?
Yeah, like summoning Hellboy or something.
Yeah, that
Palpatine
was.
Oh, hey, what's up, man?
Hey, Declan. We're live streaming right now.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Just came in to say hi. I had some comments about the political situation in the UK, but live streaming probably
I'm not going to want to talk about politics.
Yeah, for live streaming, probably not. All right, I'll peace out then.
All right, talk to you later.
I thought we had this closed.
I think we might. 1 second.
Did we mod Declan? No way.
I'll edit the permissions. Let's see. Do we have him in here?
Yeah, I didn't realize he joined.
Oh, I think I had him in here because of when Elden Ring was happening. And
all right, there. I took out his permissions.
That is hilarious. Sorry for that, Declan. We shouldn't have said anything and just seen how long it would have taken for him to be like, "Why are y'all talking about Andor so intensely? Why are y'all struggling to talk about things on Andor?"
What do you guys think is going to happen with Cyril? Like, what's his point?
I think he and Deidre meet up and become like the evil people.
They become Team Rocket in Star Wars.
And then like Andor meets up with what's the other plot line that's happening right now?
There's
Mothma. Mon Mothma. I think him and Mon Mothma, and then Cyril and Daedra are like going to be like.
There's the girl too, Andor's friend. I think I'm looking it up now. Her name is Bix.
Bix, yeah.
Like, what is her deal?
Bix.
I don't think that we're going to see a lot of her anymore. I think that was kind of our send off of like in this episode.
Like, what was the point of even showing her again then?
It was just to kind of get like the closure of like this is how she feels now. I mean, we might still see her, but I just think that I got enough out of it. I got enough out of being like.
Wasn't that flashback?
No. That was like That was like
I
post.
mean, like kind of. It was like
It was happening
like
in between
because there's a
flashbacks.
flash forward.
Yeah, I think like tonally, this episode was all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a flashback when I saw that scene happening.
Like this episode starts off like it starts serious, and then we're getting like traumatic flashback scenes, and we're getting Cassian talking to Marva, and Marva's like crying because she's part of the rebellion, and Cassian's a shithead. And then the next scene is like do 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 do, like now they're in space Miami, and it's
Yeah,
like,
no, the music like took me out almost for a second. But then like
what is happening?
But like when I realized what was happening, oh shit.
Yeah, they were all over the place with this episode.
Yeah, I think
It
that's
was
always the
interesting.
case in like the flashback. You kind of want like, especially since we haven't done the flashback stuff in a bit. It's kind of like when Boba Fett was like, "We're gonna do flashbacks for the first bit," and then fuck off on that idea halfway through.
Yeah.
And it felt
Like,
like we're
'cause,
like the
like-
first
And then
three
just goes
episodes.
straight into Mandalorian instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first 3 episodes having flashbacks and then the last 3 not. I think they did kind of miss out on opportunities to kind of flesh out some things more. Even with like the flashback we got here, I was like, I could have had more. I could have had more shit from that, on honesty.
Yeah, one of the things that this show is doing really well, and I think that the slow pacing of it actually benefits it in this regard, is just kind of showing the dystopian nature of the Star Wars universe. Like, granted, nothing might be happening, but seeing Cyril like stuck in a cubicle amongst hundreds of other cubicles, to me is a cool scene because it just shows just how shitty regular life is for most people in this universe.
It's a cool scene. I think it should have
Not
been.
everyone could be a bounty hunter or a Jedi.
I think that scene though should have been before the imprisoning kind of thing. I think that would have made it better for me because it was just really weirdly like placed. I felt.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think the imprisonment scene was also just sloppy.
It was
Just
very
really,
weird.
really
Yeah.
sloppy.
Like hell, that could have been an episode. Like him. I mean, maybe people
I feel
don't
like
want
it
to
should
see
have been
that.
an episode.
But like maybe like a
Oh,
literal
no.
courtroom type thing where like it's like this is what he's going through and
They
holy
suddenly
hell.
have a really good courtroom scene.
Be
Or
like, oh,
at the very
this
least,
is where all
like,
those She-Hulk
show
writers
us
were.
that
Yeah.
show us that Cassian got away, and like show us more of Cassian actually like living a life that he wants to live, having escaped from the nonsense and now being rich.
Well, that's the thing
Like
too.
showing
That I
us
kind
that
of
setup.
I agree with you where you said that there was like a time jump because like or am I to believe that either there was a time jump or am I to believe that he knows this woman already and she knows him as Keith? Because then I'm
Right.
like, there's obviously been a time jump for sure.
Yeah, I think he's probably actually
Graga.
been on that planet for like a month or so.
Really? Okay.
I was half expecting his name to be that Keith Graga.
Well, he's got a whole new alias now. He's with a woman. He's got his own little room. I don't know if it's a hotel room or like an apartment or whatever.
Yes.
He's got new clothes. Like he's clearly been there for some time.
Sure,
He's
true.
still
They
doing
just-
shiesty shit though.
It just happens so quick that it's like, oh, I guess he's here now, and he's in jail.
When people say in Star Wars, like, I guess maybe this is not like the end point that he wants to be at because he was like, oh, like let's run away and go find somewhere safe and nice. Like when he says that, I didn't picture this fucking planet. Like, are we on like the way to the planet where he wanted to go, or like?
Oh no, he said somewhere nice. I think this is a nice place. This is a
But
really
like,
nice
fuck
place.
that. When people say that shit in Star Wars, especially with the Empire run around, I'm thinking of planets like in Mando where there was like the forest people making shrimp. I'm like, fuck, let's go somewhere nobody is. So I'm
Let's
never
go to fucking
found.
bubblegum shrimp, guys.
Because like,
Yeah.
because logically,
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
mean,
you're
it
gonna go to a
doesn't- it
place
doesn't
where the
feel like-
Empire is. Like, come on.
Yeah, I agree with that. It doesn't feel like the kind of place you'd go to lay low.
Yeah.
Like to lay low, you went to like this super high profile like Space Myrtle Beach. Like,
I'm
come
starting
on.
to think that he isn't a good criminal.
I'm starting to think he's maybe not all that
Yeah.
smart.
I think Cassian is a pretty average at best criminal and is kind of dumb.
I gotta
Yeah,
give a
he's
shout out to my homie in the opening of that, not opening of the whole scene on Miami, but he was
Yes.
my little boy doing the bong rip or whatever he's doing because he's fucking hilarious looking. He's so cute.
And like every character you find, you're like, oh, he's so cute. Always does like the
They always
laugh.
just laugh. It's true. I love if you have a stupid laugh in Star Wars, you're immediately in my heart. If Max Rebo laughed on screen and it was like whoop 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 whoop, I would be so happy.
It would sound like that.
It would have to with all those flaps.
He laughs as if like it's like just air coming through like flaps of stuff.
So the assistant of
Luthen.
Luthen's assistant. Do you guys think that she looks like I think she resembles Carrie Fisher.
Okay, now what am I thought she looked like somebody. Like, to me, it was like an older. I almost had a creepy idea that it was like literally an older Leia. Like, we're getting like a Carrie Fisher, and this is secretly her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, my brain went to that when she was like in the alleyway, like kind of like halfway in disguise. Like the whole time I'm watching that scene, I'm like, I was thinking like, is this Leia?
Nah.
I know it's not, but like my brain went there because they have a physical resemblance.
My dumbass did the same thing with Mon Mothma's daughter because her name is Leia, and I was like, "Is this Leia like secretly here, like watching the situation?" No.
I think there would be some people be like, "Aren't you a different senator's kid?"
Be like, no. You don't know about my personal life. This is my kid that I've had secretly for a while."
Yeah.
I kind of did not like the Mothma scene where she's conspiring with her childhood friend at the party.
The banker
kind of felt like, yeah, I don't know. I guess
I love that.
Look, I'm not out here stirring rebellions, but I guess like it felt a little, I don't know, too obvious. Like you're gonna have this discussion in the open, just like out and about. And your solution is to tell him to smile?
It was discreet enough, yeah. Like, and that was the thing. Oh, like, honestly, like, I know you don't like that apparently, but man, like, the way that scene kind of concluded, where it was like, Perrin is coming. Don't trust him. He's the worst. I hate him. Smile. I thought that was such a cool, like, way to bring down the like the tension that was coming. It was cool. It was a cool scene, I think.
Yeah, I like the scene, I guess. I like seeing the party. I like her relationship with her husband a lot, actually. I think it's great. Just seeing like an unhappy marriage.
I fucking hate this guy, God.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of refreshing to see like they're not in a good relationship. I don't know. I guess part of me feels like, I don't know, maybe like be a little bit more discreet about it than just have this conversation out in the open in a world where like the walls can literally listen to you.
Yeah, like that's what I think too. Like how are people having secret conversations in like this space where like even now secret conversations are hard to have without anyone listening?
Right.
Like yeah, this is a super advanced society here.
I guess you could make the argument that Star Wars has this sort of like analog future kind of thing where it's not as like you could say that our actual reality is more sci-fi than Star Wars.
In a sense, I see it as that, like, in that scene, like, everyone is so up their own shit and doing their own hoity-toity crap that they can get away with it just by acting as though they're talking about something nonchalant, right? Like, the husband was, like, talking about old school memories or whatever, and it's like, I don't know. I can kind of excuse it.
You say this until you get fucking space worms coming into your bedroom trying to kill you.
Wait, what? What did I miss?
That's what happened to Padme.
Oh, right. Fuck.
But that's what I mean though, is like this is a bunch of like senators and rich people at a party. Mothma can't be the only one that's out here conniving, you know? Like,
well, they're all conniving with each other, doing their own things potentially. I don't know. I'm trying to make up excuses, but it's one of those scenes where it's just gonna like be a thing. You know what I mean? It's like a dragon in a dragon pit where it's like you're like, well, fuck, why'd they do this?
Yeah, it didn't bother me that bad. I'm just nitpicking. I think I would have liked to have seen them like, hey, let's step out onto a balcony.
Yeah, okay.
You know, instead of just like, let's sit down in the middle of this room.
I'm so bummed out because like I thought this party was the party that they talked about. I think in the third whenever they had the first Mon Mothma appearance, because she mentions Sly Moore coming to a dinner, who is Palpatine's like left-hand woman. I don't know if that's a appropriate thing to say necessarily, but. Yeah, but
she's lady,
and she's like force sensitive and everything. She knows Palpatine. Is she? Yeah, she is. She knows Palpatine is a Sith Lord, and she's cool with it. So like, it would be a cool fucking scene if like this character was like literally listening in on this conversation while Mothma was happening. And I don't know. I was waiting for that to happen. I was excited, but unfortunately, no cameo of the show unless you're Yularen, which was cool.
I think I'm overall much more interested in the Imperial girl and Cyril
Yeah.
I want to know more about them. I don't really give a single shit about Cassian.
Every time Daedra comes on the screen, dude, fuck. Her shit is so interesting and like makes the show like interesting for me. I get on the edge of my seat. The whole fucking debate between her and my favorite fucking Star Wars character named Blevin. I thought
My boy.
I thought that was
Blevin.
Doc
awesome.
Brown.
Because Blevin came into that so confident, and seeing him deflate by the end of it was so satisfying.
Yeah, for sure. I think Cassian as a character, I don't want to say that I feel the same about him as I do as Jen from She-Hulk, but I don't like him, and I think I think he's designed to not be a likable
he should
character.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's a kind of despicable guy.
But I think
but
that it would have been a better idea to, at the beginning of the show him be better, and then like a descent into that shit.
For me, it's just like
No.
he isn't fun to watch.
Yeah,
the way
no,
I
I
like
actually
it.
agree with that. I think he's so damn miserable and shitty that like every time he's on screen, I'm just like, God, show
It's
me
like-
someone with motivation.
Yeah, like it's like
Motivation
with
for sure,
Theon. Almost like with the Theon scenes in like Game of Thrones. I don't like watching Theon scenes. It's so dull and boring to me. I'm like, it's just him getting tortured for like scenes on end. Like, I
I
don't care.
would agree with
And
that
his
arc.
pee-pee
I just,
shut off-
I like
cut
don't
off.
care about that aspect.
Like he's it's the same energy. It's the way I would describe it.
Yeah, I think with Theon it's a little different because
Theon
I'm speaking
is
in
like-
hindsight, having seen all the episodes. We
Yeah.
haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah.
everything for Andor, but
Yeah, like
Theon,
like,
you
with-
learn to like.
Yeah,
You know, he has like the arc like that.
But like during the period from season
Was
The
Theon's
end of
anyone's favorite?
2, I did start liking him near like around 6 onwards.
Yeah, but like favorite. You know, like Jamie level
favorite.
favorite.
I don't know.
Oh
Yeah.
no,
Uh,
I don't
think-
think he's anyone's favorite.
We
I
say
think
that,
he
but
could
I think
be.
everyone
I could
has-
see
yeah.
It's like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Everyone has a favorite Game of Thrones character. Someone's
met the
favorite
guy.
character's hot pie. Oh shit!
Alfie Allen.
Alfie Allen. His sister's
went
a
to
musician.
bar in my
Yep.
hometown.
Nice.
I've actually met the guy there, but I don't want to say Theon was my favorite, but I did by the end. Like I was very upset with his death.
Yeah,
I
fucking chapped.
He like I
was
think his
eh.
death with Theon's death I think it was one of my preferred. Like it was from that episode. I think it was one of my favorite moments because like everything, like there was a lot of things I just did not like about that.
It just
episode.
felt like
Theon's death.
such
it
a
felt
fucking
rewarding.
throwaway almost, because it's like we
Yeah,
have this
I just
character
think
that we don't know what
yes.
to do with at this point, so fucking die here.
Yes, but I think with the way he died, because he was dying like to defend Bran.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
like one of those moments, like in season 8, where it's like this fucking epic battle's happening, and he just charges in and immediately dies. I was like when it happened, I was like, like whatever.
Yeah,
You know, like he's dead now. Who cares?
But I don't know. I would say I like Theon enough to be bummed out at his death, like to be
Yeah,
bummed
no,
out at the
Same.
way that especially the way that it happened. I was like, fuck.
I don't want to jump too far.
Now
into
my
Game of
family has
Thrones, but
ammunition against him because they hate him.
I do think that like Cassian is I agree with Kaz. He's like on like a similar trajectory where like right now, 5 episodes in. Are we 5? Yeah, we're
We're
5.
7 episodes in, dude.
Are we really?
This
Jesus.
is 7, episode 7. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. 7 episodes in. I'm just like, I think I dislike Cassian even more now than when the show started. And I
feel
know
like
that
that would
like
be good,
they
though.
portray him to be kind of he's a shithead character. He's like the anti Han Solo, I think. But it's like, God damn, can you give me a single reason to root for Cassian? Because right now, I don't care what happens to him.
Well, it makes me like, because like if we're going off of the
Well, good thing we already know what happens.
yeah, really.
Yeah, true.
Did you
Gets
sorry? Did
fucking
you like
nuked from
him?
space?
Did you like him in Rogue One even, or like just a question on that front?
I have really weird mixed feelings on Rogue One as a movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
me
don't
too.
Me too,
I
for
don't
sure.
think that I liked him in Rogue One either, though.
I was kind of
I just
mixed.
thought of him as, like,
when
a
he
nobody
popped up in Rogue
character.
One, I didn't really know like what to think about him at all.
He's probably my least favorite character in Rogue One, if I'm
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah, really? Like, yeah.
I was like, he's just a guy, kind of.
Because I feel like I can't remember their fucking names. Chirrut and the other guy, Baze. Chirrut and Baze were like my 2 favorites. I love those guys.
They're amazing. And so is the main character. Like I thought she was much more fun. Cassian is just, I think, a not fun character.
It's a bummer too, because Diego Luna, love him. Love that.
Yeah,
guy
no,
to
he's
great.
death.
It's a cool actor.
Yeah, and like as far as like performance goes, he's killing it. But right now, 7 episodes in, I care about Cassian less than I did when it started.
I'm gonna
Like
say
at this
something.
point, I'm like, God damn, I don't just hurry up and die, man.
I'm gonna say something controversial, and this is gonna be crazy that I'm gonna say this, but like the descent that I'm talking about is so comparable to Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
That like if they had tried to emulate that, I know people are already bitching about this show being 2 seasons long. They were
2 seasons.
They're gonna go for 2 seasons. Next season is gonna be way different, and it's gonna be way more cameo focused. You're gonna hate it. But they were originally gonna go for 5 seasons. Like they had that planned.
Oh my god!
And I know you're saying that, but at the same time, with what I'm saying, like it would have almost been a cool idea to be with this guy for longer and feel his descent, like Heisenberg in a way.
Yeah, I think that the problem, and this I'm not. For once, I'm actually not shitting on Rings of Power, but I'm going to use it as a reference.
Wow. I cannot wait to hear this.
Well, the showrunners for Rings of Power have said, like, hang in there, keep watching the show. Things are going to start moving and happening. Just, you got to get past this part. And I'm of the mind that if that's how you write your show or your video game or anything, it sucks.
Yeah, like, I think it's pretty brutal to if the writers are saying that, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, like don't tell me to get over the hump. Like if I have to get over the hump of the show, if the show has a hump, you didn't write it very good.
That is like that's a fan thing that fans are supposed to say to like defend certain things. You know what I mean? Like if your writers are actively going like, "Yep, this is very like meh," so it's a part you have to get through.
I went from kind of defending Andor to now like, yes, the last episode, not episode 7, but episode 6 was great. But now I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Well, 7 episodes in, and I'm bored to tears.
But I'm telling you, episode 9 of this 3 arc will be amazing again, and we will all be like, "That was great." So, like, what does that say?
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at, like specifically when we're referring to like how Breaking Bad was, season 1 of Breaking Bad is phenomenal. So watching Walter White's descent into being an asshole is a fun experience, whereas watching Cassian's, I guess, ascent into being a hero is so far kind of boring.
But ascent into being a hero is kind of a weird way to put it, though, isn't it? Right? Because like he's not a good guy at the beginning of Rogue One. Like he's a shitty guy.
I don't think he ever really becomes a good guy.
I kind of agree.
Sure. I mean, yeah, to an extent, he doesn't become like a good guy, but he at least finds like the purpose to fight. That's probably not the right way to put it, but like he knows that like what they have to do is something they have to do rather than like fucking off and just going away. I don't know, like he gets better by the end of that movie. Like he has his own arc, right?
True. I guess I'm finding myself kind of questioning my own beliefs here because I for the longest I've been the kind of guy that's like adamant that Han shot first because it makes Han's character more interesting. He's morally gray. He's not entirely a good guy. And we see him go from being a morally gray, almost bad guy to being a good guy. And I thought I wanted more of that. And now that I'm seeing it with Andor, where Cassian is himself just kind of a shitty dude. 7 episodes in, I'm just like, so he's just going to be a shitty dude? I'm like, give him something to do that's good.
Well, I think
7 episodes in, he hasn't done anything.
The sister plot line is an avenue for that because it is like inherently something that you can relate to just by like being like, oh, like he lost his family, he's wanting to find his sister. I find that to be compelling, but like with what has been said, like I'm almost wondering if there's even time to do that still.
Yeah, like, that'll be on another season. But like the thing with his mom. Homeboy just straight up left his adopted mother to die.
Well, no, basically. She told him to leave.
She did, but like I'm of the mind that like if you're I'm gonna walk back on this one a little bit. I still that scene comes across as odd to me. Like this is your adoptive mother. You're clearly upset about her not coming with you to the point where I don't know if he was crying, but he was almost crying. He's clearly upset to have to leave her here. She refuses to go with him. So what does he do about this moral conundrum? He goes to Space Miami and parties it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't I feel like that's not relatable per se, but it's like understandable. I think people do that.
I'm sure people do.
He's like drinking away his sadness in that sense.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like I understand people do that kind of stuff, but it just makes Cassian even more unlikable for me.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Again, like I'm kind of, I know that you're not on that, but I feel like he should be properly unlikable, and I'm fine with that happening. It's just that like It's hard, right? Because what we're saying is
Yeah,
like 'cause he's the named character of the show, but like we're saying, like we are way more into
and
the
it's
other
it's
elements.
admittedly a difficult. It's hard to write for this too, because I actually agree. Like I think he should be an unlikable character, but like Kaz was saying, unlikable doesn't mean he has to be unfun, and I think he's both of those things.
Like
right now.
it's like with like going back to Game of Thrones, like watching I think Tywin. Like Tywin, is he's fun to watch, but as a character, he's like fucking terrifying. And he is
even
very bad.
Jen
Like, even
from
like
She-Hulk. She-Hulk is unlikable, but she's fun to watch.
We need to have that like taken out. Taken out. That was the nicest thing that Richard ever said about She-Hulk right there.
I mean, look, I mean that though. We're like the character herself. Jen as a character is an
Joffrey.
unlikable character, and I think most people would agree with that. However, it is at least somewhat entertaining to watch her doing things. Whereas Cassian is just like, man, you're a shithead and you're boring.
Yeah.
Do something.
Just dull.
It's the prime example of like this whole like Echo, Agatha, House of Harkness kind of thing, and this character too, where it was like, really? This is getting a show?
Isn't it House of Darkness? It's funny you said Harkness.
Is it?
House of Harkness.
I swear. Wait a minute. Is it seriously House of Darkness? I thought it was House of Harkness.
It is House of Harkness. Oh, that is funny, actually. That's
brilliant.
That's clever. I like that.
Because I was about to be like, holy fuck, have I been misreading that the whole time? But yeah, shows like that where it's like, is this show really what we needed, or did we need a show called like fucking Rebel Rising? I know I've said that before, but fuck.
Mm-hmm. I think we need fewer shows.
True on that front.
I think more movies and miniseries.
Yeah. What is like
less long form?
It's
the
weird.
Problem is that this is like a sense like a mini series. Aren't all of these shows like? I guess Star Wars.
It's too. I think it's too long for a mini. Like I mean, like it's like not to be biased. I mean, for example, let's say Jailhouse Rocky, 3 episodes. That's all it needs to be.
Well,
that's a condensed story.
I thought isn't a mini. When I say miniseries, I guess my interpretation of that is just like a one season, like a one and done kind of thing. Like that's a miniseries to me.
Well, a miniseries is typically going to be like
still
3 to 6 episodes, each one about an hour to an hour and a half long. It's basically like a couple of like movies slapped together,
like what Sherlock did
to do a start to finish kind of thing. It's a show when it's like
you know what you
12
start and you know what
episodes,
you
multiple
end.
seasons.
Like I think I think there's too many long form bits of storytelling, and it's like
like Boba Fett would be a miniseries, but it has Mando in it.
No, but like I think that's what makes Boba like as a miniseries, it like works for me in that like when you like finish something and like you're satisfied, but you still want to consume more content. It's like Boba Fett as a miniseries is cool, but by bringing Mando into it, it's like okay, cool. This is like it pushes that. Even if like Boba Fett wasn't
only
great.
The real reason to watch Boba Fett is for those 2 episodes of Mandalorian.
Yep. Boba Fett is literally just Mandalorian 1.5.
That's such a
all
bummer to even say that though.
Yeah,
it hurts
it does. It sucks though.
It hurts my soul that's the way they did
it. That's the case though. Like,
I know, but fuck. It hurts.
Like, if you don't watch Book of Boba Fett, you're not going to understand what's happening in Mandalorian.
Exactly.
That's kind of bullshit.
And
I know, and
that's ultimately my problem with Andor and She-Hulk and all of this stuff. Is my problem is not necessarily with the shows; it's with the Disney Plus format. I hate the way that they're releasing content. I hate that they tie everything together because all it is a marketing design to force you to watch it.
Well, it's why I really fucking hated the fact that they're like doing like the Boba Fett, Ahsoka, all this shit, and then they mentioned something along lines of doing like a Thrawn event where it's like Thanos coming in and saving the day. Thanos coming in and fucking killing everybody, and it's like, can we not? And can we just do that in like an individual show, if anything, and not have to bring everyone in like an Avengers thing? Like, holy fuck!
Mm-hmm. I'm honestly at the point now where I can barely like if I weren't such a super fan of Star Wars, if I were just an average person, I would be mixing up what's Star Wars and what's MCU because it's on the same level now. Where the lines are just kind of blurred on what's what because they feel the
almost
same.
Oversaturated. It's the market's just become oversaturated with I think because Disney is doing this thing, it doesn't help that they're all under the same like umbrella.
Yeah,
that like makes it worse.
like I remember when I saw the lineup of all of the future Star Wars shows coming out, and there were like 25 of them or something. I did not feel excited. I felt like a pit in my stomach. I'm like, oh my god,
It depended
this
on the
is too
project
much.
for me. Like, I'd say it's too much for sure, but I don't like that they are treating. I agree with what you're saying. I don't like that they're treating it as the MCU, where like that fucking big panel comes up and you see like the timeline of when these movies are coming out. Like, I think that already like is so like ingrained into our heads, especially us as like MCU fans already, that is like the phase thing coming up. It way too much emulated that to me that I was like, oh no, like
it messes
Star
with my
Wars doesn't
brain.
need
Like
to be phases, like we don't need to do
no. God, please don't do that. And we're not even a quarter of the way through. There's still like the Acolyte. There's did Rogue Squadron get canceled?
I don't know.
Didn't that happen?
I think it did.
And honestly, I don't think it should have, because I was honestly looking forward to that. I'm sorry to say, but
I don't know if it got canceled or if they just took Patty Jenkins off the project. But that did its thing.
I thought Patty Jenkins was the driving force of that project.
She was.
I
think Wonder Woman 84.
Like, ridiculous.
I think that's the nature of Hollywood right now. I think Wonder Woman 84 performed badly, so they pulled her. Rangers of the New Republic, is that a thing still?
I don't think that's happening anymore. I think that one's fucking canceled.
This is part of the problem though, is like they release like 20 shows coming out and like a lineup of like when they're coming out, and then it all just gets skewed, and some of them get canceled, some of them change hands, and it's like I don't know what's what anymore. The timelines are all over the place. Do we need a Lando show? Do we need that?
Can I pull back for a second? When you were talking about Wonder Woman, was it like the writer got
Patty Jenkins,
like the writer
was the writer,
and then she got, but like for Rogue One, she got pulled because that did bad.
No.
So Patty Jenkins was she directed Wonder Woman, and then Wonder Woman 84, she was the director and the writer. So
and that bombed.
I think it showed that as a writer, she can't do it. And I believe for Rogue Squadron, she was also both writer and director.
That's and see that I think that goes back on that point that I was talking about earlier about how when like a writer or like they're like sometimes you can have an amazing writer or a good writer, but sometimes just the juice ain't flowing and you just can't. You can't make something make it
that's
work.
what happened with Thor: Love and Thunder. Is Taika Waititi is a fantastic comedic director, and he's a great comedic writer. But when he's doing both, he's firing off on all cylinders, and it's like, bro, slow the hell down.
I would also blame like or Disney, whatever you want to say on that front. I would say I would blame the execs on that too, though, where it's like I think they gave him too much freedom to be crazy because of his success on Ragnarok. They said that did really
they
well.
Need a team.
Go fucking crazy and do that. And it's like, well, don't do that, but more, because that was already. I think even some people, while they loved Ragnarok, acknowledged it was a little hammy sometimes. You know.
Like,
oh man, I loved it.
I loved it, but I mean, I don't think all of it should be.
I'll admit, when I first watched it, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because like it was like really like a very heavy comedy, and then I saw like an interview where Taika Waititi like answered the question. I was like, why does it feel like a comedy? He was like, maybe because it is a comedy, and when you look at it that way, I was like, okay,
I think
that's funny.
A great like I don't know if it's a headcanon, but like it being like Thor is telling it from his perspective, and that's why it's so like comedy focused.
That's the other thing. I've heard that too. Yeah.
I mean, I think all of us are going to agree that the executives are the big problem. But I think if we hone in on that, I think the biggest issue with Disney Plus and the format right now is that Disney Plus feels like it is all of Disney Plus, like the MCU and Star Wars, feels incredibly financially and executive driven.
Yeah.
And I feel like the writing teams, more for MCU and less for Star Wars to an extent, are not fans of the content. Like I feel like in order to write for an MCU show, they get a bunch of writers and they have them read like 2 comics and they say go to town.
Yeah, that's why we always say like hire us. Like I'm not saying us specifically, but us, but like people that fucking know this shit.
Hire people that care about it.
The concept to have people in the corner of the room that just point out, no, sorry, that won't go over well.
That's not gonna go well here. Do this instead, and then that's all you need to do. And people
do they have like, is it like single writers or do they have like groups?
Teams for
okay,
sure.
Then
never
mind.
We also say this, but Star Wars had this for a time, in a sense. Like it's been.
That was sort of like the original like problem with like the prequels, whereas like George Lucas didn't have anyone to say no, you know?
Like we have the story group that Lucasfilm has, and that's like filled with a bunch of lore nerds. Like I mean, and these are unfortunately politicized people as well. So I mean, like you got Pablo Hidalgo and people like that, but people who know Star Wars and they're like tasked to be on set and be like, that is not gonna fly. But unfortunately for Rise of Skywalker, I always point this out, J.J. Abrams said, no, I don't need that. And look at how that turned out.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing happened with Rings of Power. They had a Tolkien expert on the show who was like, "This, you're not doing this right," and they fired him.
Well,
There you go.
Christ, what the fuck are
Then
you doing?
we have like She-Hulk too, where like there was an interview that came out pretty recently from Jessica Gao, who's the lead writer for She-Hulk, and she makes it very clear. And for her, it kind of comes off as like a haha funny kind of joke kind of thing, where she's saying that like they intentionally wrote She-Hulk to trigger the quote unquote trolls online. And no matter how you take that, I think at the end of the day, this comes down to like, so you wrote the show to piss people off. Like you intentionally did that.
And like, that's stupid. Cause like, I mean, you can still write like a good show and do that, I think.
I could write a show to piss a lot of people off. I'll do it.
It's frustrating to me because when you start to look at these shows, whether it's She-Hulk or Andor or Rings of Power or any of them, you have big nerdy dudes like ourselves who are very passionate about this stuff. And we can all have a discussion on it, whether we agree with it or not. And more often than not, one of us disagrees with the other person on one subject.
Absolutely,
but we can have a discussion about it. Whereas I do feel like the current state of writing for Disney Plus right now is to piss people off, and if they don't like it, call them trolls.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that so much. It's like
Which
I can't have a critical opinion on this stuff.
Werewolf by Night, because that one doesn't feel like it does that at all.
I didn't dislike Werewolf by Night. I just didn't really like it either.
Didn't like it as much as you thought you were, probably, because like the thing is, like the
exactly
trailers, like for that, like hyped me up to a unbelievable expectation.
Same.
I mean,
same.
I still
was
really
like jumping
liked
for
it.
joy.
I really liked it because like
I mostly enjoyed it.
I think that might be the difference between us, because like I tend to not get hyped by the trailers anymore because I've been so shot down and hurt.
I know that happens to me too, but then I can't. I'm a fucking stupid baby, and I keep
like
going back and get slapped.
Like, whenever like a D23 happens, and they're like, "Look at all this crazy cool shit that's happening," I'm like, "That's cool. Like, I want to see that, but I'm not gonna get fucking oh my god, fucking crazy about it." You know, like
that's me. I'm sorry. That's me.
I'm having to kind of temper that the older I get, but I think like. Shit, I lost my train of thought on this. But I do think that it's a problem with just how things are being developed and written now, where it's either intentionally inflammatory, like you want to piss people off because people talk when they're mad, or
I think they're going off the idea.
Werewolf by Night is an example of what I think is a perfectly serviceable show. It just kind of comes off as just more of the same for Marvel to me, where this is the same thing I see all the time with
same
Marvel.
thing with the black filter.
I think a lot of it is like any PR is good PR for like this.
Absolutely.
Like, people are talking shit about our show. That means they're fucking watching this show. You know, more money in our pockets because they're watching it just to hate on it.
Yeah, and I guess to kind of prove that point, I don't think anybody's talking about Andor.
I don't see a lot of buzz. I don't see a lot of things
talking about it
because I don't think not a lot of people are hating on it, man.
Yeah, no one's mad at it and no one really likes it, so it's just there.
Like it's a good show, but like that doesn't get people talking. You know, it's the bad stuff that happens in the show.
But I'd say it's such like a middle of the road show that no one's talking about. Yeah, because it's not like a Succession or something like that people are like, "Holy fuck, this is the greatest show in the world," and you're like, "Okay, like holy fuck, maybe I should watch that."
Yeah.
I'm also just looking at the list here of what's coming up because of us talking about this. So like we got like Andor that's out right now, Ahsoka, Mando season 3, Skeleton Crew, which is something that they just announced. I don't know if is that a show?
I've
never
even heard of that one.
Skeleton Crew is like Jude Law's in it, and it's like I think that they said this is going to be like the Stranger Things movie for Star Wars, where it's a bunch of kids in like space. So
it's gonna be like a horror movie.
I don't know. I
hope so. That'd be pretty dope.
The Fall of the Empire through the ages of children's ages 11 to 12. Well, why do you even have to specify that? That's like literally like barely a difference. Then there's the Acolyte, which I actually am excited for in a sense because I think that could be cool. because it is very removed from a lot of things. Apparently, it's set
What
like
was it? What show?
The Acolyte.
I'm curious. I'm curious to see what that's even going to be about.
I will imagine it's going to end with this character getting Plagueis as their apprentice. That's my dream for the end of the show.
Is it a prequel or like?
Oh yeah, the show
do
is
we
set
know
like
anything?
150 years before like Phantom Menace or something like that.
So we could get
Okay,
Yoda
okay.
to tie us all together,
We
right?
we absolutely will see Yoda. I'll say that.
Give me a Darth Bane show. I'll
Oh
watch that.
my god, do it.
Hello,
Holy shit.
Batman.
And cast,
You're gonna do that.
I
It's
can't remember his
me,
fucking name.
Bane.
But cast the
In the-
guy. Oh my
You need to
god. He
trust
was
in
in
the Force.
Star Wars.
He was in Shazam. He played the bad guy in Shazam.
Oh,
Bane
He's
what
molded
is
molded
it?
by the
Shazam?
dark side.
I was in
What was his
Shazam.
name?
yeah.
Mark Strong.
Is-
I think
Mark Strong.
I think is his
My
You
name.
can
name
put
is
Mark
Bane,
Strong in
not Mark
anything, and I'm
Strong.
happy.
I think that
But
guy's
is he
great.
the-
I've always fan casted him as Bane. He'd be great in it.
Yeah,
I first thought that when I
he's
saw
good
him in Robin Hood, which was not a great movie for me, but maybe
Also
I
my
was
King's
too
one.
young. But I don't know, like that movie.
I don't think he's shredded enough because Bane's described as
he
being
could shred
ripped.
up, whatever.
He could
yeah, he could.
shred.
I mean, even like you could get like a muscle suit. Even I don't know if that's something.
I
Like,
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm.
I don't
No,
know.
he totally could for Bane. Bane's wearing like a head to toe.
Yeah, Bane is like
Suit.
fucking.
I want like
grotesque.
a movie or
Okay,
a comic
whoa, whoa,
accurate
whoa.
Bane where it's just fucking pumped full of drugs.
So, do you want to? Do you
Yeah.
want the Bane? Okay, I want to see Bane at least before he gets in the shitty obelisk or not obelisk, the shitty like beetle outfit.
I want that too, but he does have that through most of his thing.
I hope I want that take.
I want to see Bane as just a basic like luchador, then gets pumped up with drugs.
Oh my god.
As a
like
wrestling
seeing-
fan, I would love to see Bane as a Luchador.
I would like to see
Give
like
me a Batman movie and it's just some wrestling.
They
It's
also
just a wrestling
changed
show.
Bane though in canon already, right? Like because he showed up in Clone Wars for like
They
a
changed his
second.
appearance.
Like
Yeah,
so
wearing,
maybe
like,
he
almost
has
like
more of
samurai
like a I
armor.
was gonna say like more of a samurai appearance, right? So
My
by Mark Hamill, by
concept
the way.
of Bane. When you said Bane just then, I thought you guys were talking about fucking.
Yeah,
Batman
Bane,
not
got off
Cad
topic.
Bane.
I was
Yeah.
we're not talking about Cad Bane. We're talking
not
about
talking about
Darth
Cad Bane either.
motherfucking Bane.
Darth
over here.
Bane.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry, my mistake.
Because
Sorry.
Kaz
See, even then,
a Bane joke, and then I immediately switched over to Batman's Bane.
hello, it's me in Star Wars.
I was molded by the dark side.
After
Then
that,
they
we got
put me in the
Rangers
mask.
of the New Republic, which again, as we said, we don't know if that's even happening. The Lando show, which is only gonna be good.
I want that to be like a talk show. The Lando
Oh,
show.
that would be hilarious.
I'm mad they did. If they call the show fucking Lando and they don't switch it before it's out into the Cassian Chronicles, or like no, not the
I would hate that.
Calrissian, the
I was
Calrissian
gonna say.
Chronicles.
Another
much better
fucking
name.
Cassian show.
Because that's what he calls it in Solo, right? He's like back to like the Calrissian Chronicles or something like that. Like that's what he fucking calls it. So I think
I
this
hate
show
to say
would-
it, but I
Oh,
think that Lando was the worst part of the Solo movie.
really interesting. I don't know about that.
I thought he
for
was
me.
liked it.
bad, and
I mean,
I like Donald Glover a lot, and I think he does an okay job as Lando. But if you go back and watch that movie, like just rewatch it and focus in on how Donald Glover's playing Lando. There's some scenes where he has an accent, and other scenes where he does not.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I think
it's
that's
like
the
he
Star
didn't
Wars thing in
entirely,
general, though. Like,
entirely know how to be him.
Carrie Fisher does the exact same thing in A New Hope. To be fair, like she's very
True.
bad at that. But I want this show to be like a mix of seeing Billy D. Williams and fucking Donald Glover. Like I think that would be cool. Like if it was old Billy D. Williams referring to the story and then we get to see it. Like that's the only way I'm into this. Because if it's just Donald Glover, I love him, but it's less cool.
I don't think we're gonna see Billy D. Williams. That man is 85 years old.
He can just be sitting on a fucking chair. I don't care.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
He can just
Let's
sit in the fucking cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
If it was a talk show, I would like I could see that happening. But like as like if it was like folks younger,
What if he's
Yeah,
just talking? What if it's just voice lines? Come on.
I want more Star Wars taking itself less seriously. Personally,
See, I feel like-
I'm
oh,
on
man.
two ends of the spectrum here. I
I
guess
know
'cause
you are.
I want
Yeah.
ultra serious Star Wars, or I want like
goofy fun Star Wars.
taking the piss nonsense. I don't like it when it's like MCU Star Wars. I hate that.
Oof, yeah,
like
I
when
mean
it's-
that is
when
kind of
it's a
just
story
what we're
with
getting.
constant
like, that's the
quips.
thing. It all feels so samey in that sense. I do agree. But
Andor
finally,
hasn't, surprisingly.
The last thing that they have announced, I feel like there's more, but like a droid story, which is a animated feature with R2D2 and C-3PO, I believe. So
I'll take it.
like
I love
That's
animated
really
Star
good,
Wars.
like,
I'll take an
what was
animated
I love,
thing.
I love,
Absolutely.
I love C-3PO and everything.
I think that's the
Yeah,
thing is like I would love to see Star Wars trying to do a little bit more different shit, like make
Like
us making
Visions.
like Visions. Oh, they actually didn't bring that up here either. That's coming out at the end of this month. The Star Wars, what is the Tales of the Jedi? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The I don't know 8-episode mini series where it features Ahsoka and Count Dooku stories. So that'll be fucking cool.
Count Dookie.
Like
That'll be interesting.
I am
I
excited.
don't give
to
a
see,
single
like,
shit about
just shits
Ahsoka
himself.
anymore, but
I know my I'm like cool. I love you, Ahsoka, but I think it would be cool if this show like took focus on another Jedi for a second.
nah, as long as Filoni's in charge, we're
It'll
getting more
always
Ahsoka.
be Ahsoka. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that seems to be it. Other than that's weird they didn't even bring that up, and that's coming up like the soonest. That's a really weird article. Fuck you. I mean, I'm excited for certain things coming up, but like we're saying, if it's all building towards a certain Marvel vibe, then it's like, can we not do this?
Oh yeah, and that's if I were to put money on it, I would say that right now Disney Plus is releasing all of these shows to kind of reconstruct their mess of the Star Wars universe right now and what they've done to it, so that they can eventually get to a point where they can break away from the established shit and make new movies. I think this is all an attempt to get them back to movies, but distance themselves from the Skywalker shit.
Well, I think that like the easiest way to do that immediately is just to be like jump fucking 200 years in the future. Like just make if you're wanting to make movies.
I would,
again, like-
personally, I would suggest not into the future, into the past.
Well, they'll do.
They're
I
doing that.
guarantee you that like
Guess that hand just tripped me out, dude.
That's right.
I guarantee you that we are
really
getting
messed
like
me up.
we are getting like and not Old Republic maybe, but like that would because oh man, Old Republic is such a problem because. It says
Hi, nice to meet you, Richard. Sorry,
This really messed me up.
Grab my
you guys-
strong hand.
everyone
I have a
has-
tiny wooden hand.
I had to
And-
look up and be like, "Wait, what?" My brain stopped working for a second. When
He's
I'm like,
back with
"Is
the
this a
tiny wooden
perspective
hand,
thing?
man."
Why is Cass's hand so small?"
It's a weird camera trick. It's
Oh
a
my
filter.
God.
Actually.
I'm sorry, Sam.
Shit, I do
Go
not remember,
on,
I do not remember what I was
proceed.
saying. What was I even saying?
Proceed, Sam. I need some water.
Oh, that tickled me. Anyway, Star Wars sucks. Marvel sucks. Disney sucks.
Fuck,
You know,
what was
I don't
gonna say?
understand-
It was a good point. Damn you, Kaz, and your fucking small hand bullshit.
Tiny hand.
God damn.
Sorry, I'm just.
I wish
tweeting
that
funny, you know.
I wish that they would just have the cojones to just be like, you know what? These last 3 movies kind of sucked. Just retcon them. Forget about them.
No, okay, look.
I wish they don't do that. No, I don't want them to do
didn't
that.
like them. Okay, wait, no, I shouldn't say that. I didn't like the last one. But
I think that the middle one is the only good one of the 3.
I think
Yeah.
that the first 2
No,
are like
I like
strong.
the first two.
The-
The first two are great.
The first
I like the first one is just A New Hope
lot.
again.
Look, okay, sure, people have made that fucking complaint. It's
I
kind
don't personally see him.
look, okay. Big little rant I'm about to do for a second. Star Wars was hugely
I'm gonna go for a
problematic
piss. I'll be right back.
in the prequel situation, right? Like, everyone hated it. Everyone was like, fucking bullshit. They were mad. So Disney buys Star Wars, and their decision, I can't fault them for making a semi-safe movie. Sure, it hits some beats that are similar, but it's different enough that it's its own situation. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't...
Because you go back 10 years and ask anyone what they think about the prequels, everyone's going to say they hate it. Now, if you ask anyone, like the fucking best series, the best trilogy ever in the Star Wars series. Fuck off.
I'm the other way around.
I hate it.
I loved them when I was a kid, and I hate them as an adult. But what I've heard described before is that the prequel movies are bad movies with a good story, whereas the sequel movies are good movies with bad stories. And I think that's
I would agree
absolutely
that, like,
the case.
I feel like it just culminates in that at the end, especially because of the lack of plan. Like, that's my core thing, the whole thing, no plan, what the fuck? That's my only
that's
problem.
why I think it would be fine to just retcon it, because it's like it just feels so disconnected and pointless.
I don't know, but
Like,
there's
this
always
doesn't need to
like,
even
there's
exist.
things building towards it still now is
What
the
if-
problem, right? Like,
What if at
Mando
the
is
very end of like the third, what the fucking was it called?
Rise of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. What if that like it just goes to like a fucking vision of or like it like flashes out. It was just all vision in Rey's mind.
Yeah, Ahsoka just had a dream.
Yeah. Whoa.
I think that there is still
Let's stop that from
salvageable.
happening.
There's still salvageable things that you can do in the Star Wars universe going forward. I don't think that it hurts things so bad that it like makes it that we have to retcon it. Because fuck, if that happens,
I do, and here's why. They haven't done anything that takes place after those movies.
Well, that's
because they can't.
They could. They very well could.
What are they gonna do? The reason why everything takes place during the mainline Star Wars stories is because the sequels are almost universally hated.
Well, I don't
Especially
know.
the last
I just think that that's more due to the fact that like right now we already got 3 big movies that just came out, and we're waiting to discover more of this time. And people have a way more emotional inclination towards the older era than they do this new one.
Yeah, and to be fair, I know
years.
that like I'm a massive Star Wars fan, but at the end of the day, I will absolutely willingly and freely admit that all of the Star Wars movies suck. They're all just whatever movies. I just really love the world. Like the only exception I think is Empire, but beyond that, I think every Star Wars movie is just kind of a bleh movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I love the story. I love the world.
I would say, like,
really
Empire,
love the world.
Empire. I love the world. I agree. I think the world is the thing that, like, because Wikipedia is like the huge reason why I'm here. Because like,
yeah, that's what makes Star Wars to me. Is the
go through
world.
the Wikipedia articles and read how fucking cool this universe is. But
it's something I used to say with the prequel movies. Is everyone was like, "Oh man, Hayden Christensen can't act for shit," and it's like, go back and watch A New Hope and tell me if Mark Hamill's really chewing the scenery here.
Yeah, but he's better. I don't know. Like, it's definitely better. Like, and that's just based on that's not even like an acting thing, because like we've seen Hayden do proper acting and shit before, so I mean, it's a director thing. We all know George could have fucking done another take, but
I think it's a writing thing more than anything.
Well, that too, sure, but I just mean that like even the way that it's like, I mean, even Mark Hamill, I think back when they said like he took the scripts to George and was like, fucking say this out loud, like this is not how people speak.
The writing's bad, and nobody questioned Lucas on the writing in the prequels, but the directing does have something to do with it, because Empire is widely regarded as the best Star Wars movie, and it was not directed by Lucas.
Thank you, Lawrence Kasdan? Is that who it was? I think that might not be who it is.
I don't remember.
I'm looking it up. Now that I've said it, I can't fuck it up.
I think I'm just I'm getting old and bitter, and I miss a simpler time where you could go to the movies and like look outside and see all the different posters for like 24 different movies that you can watch, and they're all unrelated. Whereas now it's like you go to the movie theater and it's like, well, I guess I can pick one of these Star Wars or Disney things. It's constant. It's just a never-ending flow of just Disney shit. Like that's part of the reason why I loved the new Top Gun so much, was because it's just like, this is just a regular movie again.
I still need to see
it's
that.
Nice to see a regular movie.
I don't really care for it.
Fair.
Wow, Lawrence. I don't know why I specifically jumped onto this, but like, because Lawrence Kasdan wrote fucking other things for Star Wars. Oh, he wrote like the screen. Okay, he was still involved in it, but he's like more of the writer. But he also wrote Dreamcatcher, which is hilarious.
Huh. Top Gun also falls into the category of it just being more of the same. Top Gun 2 is literally just Top Gun 1 retold, but it's not fucking MCU or Star Wars, so it's kind of refreshing for me.
That's why I like Prey a lot, I think, because like I was like, this is not anything. It's in the Predator universe, sure, but like it's just its own thing, and I like it. I don't know.
Yeah, I want more,
to the
more
point
of that.
Where every story to be told has already been told, and every story after is just going to be the
Simpsons
same
already
thing.
did it. Yeah,
Simpsons did
I think.
it.
I have like serious superhero and Star Wars fatigue right now, which is something I never thought I'd have. Like if 15-year-old me could hear me now saying this at 35, I would punch myself in the guts. Like how dare you? Because when I was 15 years old, like we had nothing. There weren't superhero movies. There was a long pause between the Michael Keaton movies and the Christopher Nolan movies. There was nothing superhero related. And then the Christopher Nolan Batman movies came out, and then the Avengers started to happen, and the MCU was formed, and it was a great time to be a superhero fan. And now, ever since then, it's been a never-ending stream of it.
So I found a better list a little bit. It's got like even dates and shit. I didn't know that Bad Batch was pushed back to January 4th, so that's actually next year in general.
Good, I think,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
good idea,
because
they're COVID or whatever it was, because Cassian got pushed and it fucked everything up. So
it's also the visual effects teams for
Yeah.
these shows need a break.
I don't want to be that guy, but isn't there a way that we could do it so that like these teams cycle out and get breaks or something like that? Like, isn't that a thing we can do?
Yeah,
I'm
but like
sure-
I think like in general, I think they either need to all combine to focus on one big movie that happens every 2 years instead of once like 3 a year, or
Well, for the
you
MCU
know,
stuff, but for Star Wars, even you'd say, or like, what do you mean?
I mean that too. Like I think because like they all have these different things, or like multiple things are coming out every year, and everyone's getting exhausted and things are just getting annoyed. It's like what happened to the time when like movies would like take like years to come out after being announced because like they're trying to perfect it, you know?
It's why I think that they should have, instead of doing the Star Wars movies every like 2 years, they should have done them every 3 years like they originally were. I think they were like that even for the prequels as well. Like it was like an every 3 year occurrence. And I think that would have been, maybe it would have been too long in between movies. I don't fucking know. I think it would have been fine because it's fucking Star Wars, but
Yeah, because at that point it gives you enough time to be like, man, this next one's coming out and it's gonna be so cool because I waited so long to see it.
the problem
Like,
is they're
it
just
gives-
so gung ho on it.
But now a lot of people are like, if I don't get another fucking Star Wars or Marvel movie the next month, I'm gonna fucking rage at Disney.
What am I
'cause-
gonna watch?
Yeah, like there's nothing to watch on it now anymore. Okay,
Watch
Just-
one of the
just-
millions of other shows you haven't fucking seen in the world. Like,
Yeah, like
it'll never happen. But I think that's the best thing that Disney as a company could do is pump the goddamn brakes a little bit on Star Wars and Marvel.
The Mandalorian
I know the show that
seasons-
they could watch. Sorry, there's a show that they could watch while waiting for some new Star Wars content. Big Blue Bear House. It's just been added, I believe.
I don't know if it was just added or Kaz, but holy fuck, yeah!
Sam,
bringing that up,
you
folks. Before we watched Andor today, the biggest thing that I saw on Disney Plus was Bear in the Big Blue House.
yeah. I saw
Oh
that.
my fucking god! Me and Kaz watched a bit of that. I love that show so much.
I didn't
did
see
they-
it, but I saw it on Disney Plus.
Holy fuck! Like the puppets and
Did they
like,
bring that back?
no, like they just put it on, like they put the show on. Disney
Oh,
Plus.
okay,
Oh,
okay,
I
gotcha.
thought I was like bringing it back.
No. It's just like they put the seasons like from like
I'll
my
take that.
childhood. And oh my god, like we watched the moon, the bear, and the big blue house. Fuck, man.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with that show, but my younger sisters did, and that's
Mm.
one of the ones that I would always stop between sips of beer and smoking my joint to be like, oh, this one looks cool.
This one's cute. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's got a nice vibe. The miniature work is good. Like the house in the opening is beautiful. Like it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, no.
So the Mandalorian season 3 is coming out in 2023. Young Jedi Adventures animated TV series, which no fucking idea
Ugh.
what that is.
It's
Uh,
Teen
Rebels.
Titans Go, Star Wars.
I don't know, but like I'm picturing it more in like a 3D sense. Maybe it's 2D, but like if it was
Honestly, Teen Titans Go too. I mean, Teen Titans Go was my brother watched it. I'd check it out every now and then. It was kind of funny.
I think the
I hated
problem
it
with
at
Teen
launch.
Titans,
I love it now.
Yeah, Teen Titans Go had a really bad problem of like, it's the thing with people being so like
Is the-
possessive of
Off themselves. Yeah.
yeah, where
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
where they get a previous thing like Teen Titans, and they're like, "This is the ultimate thing." And then when new, like it happened with like Legends of Korra. It's like I hate Legends of Korra even without ever watching it. Like it's not as good as Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm like, it is.
I think
It's
they
a really good
canceled-
series.
I think they
Like-
canceled this show, but there was like the Thundercats Roar show that was coming out. That like,
Yeah.
holy fuck, people,
Yeah, I was excited about
relax.
that.
Yeah,
I
fucking
think-
relax.
Teen Titans Go was, I think, a little bit different because they initially marketed it as a
You-
return of Teen Titans, and it is canonically in the same universe.
Yeah, they've even
So
met.
it,
like,
it
the
was
Teen
a little
Titans.
different. So that's the thing is I hated Teen Titans Go at launch because, you know, admittedly I was like, no, it's not my Teen Titans. But the more the show went on, and eventually they addressed that,
Yeah,
and then
I
I'm
love
like,
that
okay,
episode,
no,
yeah.
I love this. This is like they did a movie with that, and I watched it and I loved it, and I'm like, okay, this is fun. I can enjoy this.
I
It's
think this was made during a time where like every show sort of had the same art style.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
it's just-
I think the problem is that Teen Titans ended so unceremoniously that when Teen Titans Go came out, it felt like a slap in the face to the fans
Yeah.
initially.
yeah.
Then we got so I don't know how that young Jedi adventure thing is gonna be. If we get the young,
Oh,
Wookiee, that'd be
we
cute.
gotta wrap this up. I got a meeting right now.
All right, if you want to bounce out, AJ, you can bounce out now. I'm just gonna finish up by going over this, but
All right. Talk to you guys later.
See you later,
See you,
AJ.
AJ.
Then we got Star Wars Visions Volume 2, which I loved Star Wars Visions. Like, thought that was, I mean, I don't want to say loved. I think I loved 3 episodes, thought 3 episodes were okay, and didn't like 3 episodes. So that was kind of my deal.
Yeah, but like that's like, it's like Halo Legends. Do you remember that?
Like those are just different like animated things like within.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but
some are good, some are bad. I think that's overall good for the fandom.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good idea with everyone different stylized things. It's kind of like Black Mirror, where you come in, you go into every episode being like, okay, well, like this might be cool, but some of them are less like cool than others.
The episode of Visions that's like the black and white anime one was like, does this work in Star Wars? No. Is it cool as shit? Yes.
See, and that's like, I find it funny that everyone has like a different tier of that show, like a whole fucking different tier, because that for me was one of my least liked episode. I think, like, and everyone says,
I loved it.
I don't know, there was something about it I was just kind of bored about. I just was like, eh.
Well, for me, it really didn't feel much like Star Wars, and it doesn't really work in Star Wars, but it was just so neat just to like see lightsabers used in a very creative way.
Yeah, I would say that my favorite episode was probably the 9th Jedi. That one that involved the kyber crystals that changed depending on who was holding them. I think that episode
was neat too.
Was like I saw that and was like, yo, this could be its own trilogy. Like this could be like the world. Because I think that
it's fun to see different interpretations of Star Wars.
Yeah. But sorry, other than that, we got the Star Wars Ahsoka TV series, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, formerly Grammar Rodeo. Also in 2023. Good fucking luck with all that.
It's all going to get pushed back for sure.
It's definitely all getting pushed back. Like, there's no way they're all going to be up.
Especially now that like Disney is they're in hot water right now for the way that they've been treating their VFX people.
Yeah. Star Wars The Acolyte, Star Wars Lando, Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie, which again, like, I'm interested in seeing that, but like, pull it back a bit. Like, I
don't think it's going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen?
Nope, not with the way Disney handles things. They're going to do the same thing they did to Patty Jenkins. Now that Love and Thunder got bad reviews, they're going to pull them.
That'll be interesting. If that happens, I will be genuinely fucking mad because I hope that they didn't. Like, I get that it might be canceled, the Rogue Squadron, but like, fuck me, that just seems so brutal. I get that it's the business, but Jesus Christ, like
that's the business, baby.
It's
I hate to say it, but I think Game of Thrones is what started that.
Well, because funny you say that, because like down at the bottom of the list is David Benioff and DB Weiss's Star Wars movies, but they're canceled. Like it has that.
They're canceled.
It has
that's what I mean. Those guys screwed up Game of Thrones so bad that they got pulled off of Star Wars, and I feel like ever since that has been how they handle these things. Where like we don't like what this director did with this one thing, so we're canceling their whole thing.
Mm.
We also have
they're doing it like in the middle of movies now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We've also got Book of Boba Fett season 2, which is like I don't even think they've said anything about that. I don't know if that's been confirmed, but I'd be interested if it can be good, if it can fucking try to land this time and not have Mando involved at all. Then please,
God, I don't even care. I think they assassinated Boba Fett's character.
Wait, are they writers or directors? For which one? Oh, for I think Rogue Squadron, because Patty Jenkins was going to be directing it by. And writing it. Was that the deal? Because
I think she was doing both.
Well, because like she had a lot of like personal stakes going into that movie. Like I remember the announcement trailer for it being like, yeah, like my dad was a fighter pilot in the war. So
that's all just marketing shit, though.
But it's true. I mean, it's not like her father wasn't that. Like,
there's no doubt it was true. But that all of that was just to get you to have like, just try to have you like force empathy for Patty Jenkins' new Star Wars story.
Well, if it works, it works. It's like, hell yeah, like if she can bring in like a cool like take on this story that has, I think some impact from.
I will say, I do think like although like the cynical take is fair, but like I also think like on it'll like I think for the people that like will care about it, it'll hit them like the right.
It did the opposite for me, because for me, I'm like, I don't give a shit about your family's lineage with airplanes. Like, so what? You have to be like you have to be in a long line of people in the Air Force to write a good like space plane.
Well, not at all,
story?
but I do think that there is value to stories told by people who are like in that like
like have like witness or like at least grown up with those
so.
stories.
Yeah, for sure. There's value to it, but I'm also of the belief that like actors act and writers write. They don't need to have personal attachment to a project.
I disagree only in the sense I'll like with like what like some of the D&D stuff I've written. I find, or like, even like just like the way I like when you world build, you pulling from your own experiences. I feel like it's like that. That's my so I don't think it's inherently a bad thing. I think like there can be ways like you could do it badly, but I think like it could also be like let's say like Patty Jenkins idolized her grandparents or her grandfather, like that was a fighter pilot, and like almost wrote the scenes in a way so it's like glorifying and making it more like like how she visualized what that would be. And I think like that could be like that like gives it a very cool perspective on that from her point of view, like almost like imagine like if in that like movie there was like a kid watching these fighters like flying over, and it's like it would essentially like be like her through her eyes when she was a kid. I don't know.
I see what you're saying. I don't want to like.
I don't want to jump onto what you said earlier per se, but like if this Rogue Squadron movie gets canceled properly, like it's such a bummer because there were rumors that this movie takes place after Episode 9. Like it takes place as like an old what fuck. I'm shocked I forget this character's name. Holy fuck. Wedge. An older Wedge kind of passes on the reins of Rogue Squadron and gives it to a new group of people to try to go around the galaxy and clean it up like the original Rogue Squadron stuff was.
I feel like I probably would have liked that as a show for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's the thing. Like I think it'd be a cool thing because it's like I know you don't think it's an era worth exploring, but I think the only thing that's stopping that is cool ideas from other people. I think that
my problem with exploring this era is like now Star Wars is in a state where they're constantly having to backtrack to correct the dumb shit from the new sequels.
But like you say that, and I think that is like kind of been a thing for Star Wars in like the last 20 years, right? Like
yeah,
the prequels,
honestly, yeah, you're right.
The prequels
no, that's how Star Wars works in general.
I think that the prequels we all look honestly on them a lot of the time too because of Clone Wars, and we have a different take on it now because we see a whole new avenue of how this makes sense. But I'm like,
I think that's fair. I think Star Wars exists as a thing to explain itself.
Yeah, it seems like it. Like holy shit. Yeah. Other than that, what else is on this list? Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie. Like I don't even know. Like it'll happen maybe, but like they haven't said
that's what's gonna tie it in
about it.
That's gonna put it in the MCU.
That'll fucking be an MCU tie-in movie.
We're getting Luke Skywalker and the Mandalorian and the Avengers.
Untitled J.D. Dillard and Matt Owens movie, which I guarantee will probably be canceled. Star Wars Rangers of the New Republic TV series. I like how they put possibly canceled. They're like, we don't know. We don't fucking know for sure. Rian Johnson's Star Wars trilogy reportedly canceled.
Definitely canceled. They hate Rian Johnson now.
Why? Like the problem is
who was Rian Johnson?
Rian Johnson directed The Last Jedi. I think the real thing is if he had his own trilogy to actually helm, it would be fine.
I think so too. That's the thing is I think that Rian Johnson's movie is the most unique of the 3 sequels and is the most promising. The problem is he didn't go with J.J. Abrams' nonsense vision, which isn't even a vision. And
it's a mystery box, like it always is.
There's so many people are Abrams apologists saying like, oh, if Rian Johnson would have just stuck with what J.J. Abrams was thinking of doing, J.J. Abrams wasn't thinking of doing anything.
Yeah, he just gave fucking bullshit ideas out there and was like, do whatever.
Right. Rian Johnson is like his movie is much more unique. It opens up a lot of new doorways in Star Wars itself. And he's honestly also just a much more competent director, I think, than J.J. Abrams, who I think is a hack.
I think my big thing with Last Jedi, like I always will point this out, but like a lot of anytime when we're on Canto Bight, I'm fucking out. Like that whole planet, I fucking hate. The plot line even involving that, I'm like, God damn! Like, could we not think of a better thing to do here?
Yeah, it almost hurts me that they did away with Rian Johnson the way that they did because, like. What he did after The Last Jedi, he did that Knives Out movie, which is fantastic.
Awesome, dude.
And it just shows me that like Rian Johnson is so much better at making movies than J.J. Abrams, who J.J. Abrams kind of reminds me of like Tim Burton, where like he's seen as a visionary, but if you really look at everything he's ever done, it's just remaking something someone else has already done.
That's an interesting take, I guess, yeah.
Did he do Coraline or did he not?
I'm pretty sure he probably did Coraline.
Rian
I don't
Johnson?
think he did.
No.
J.J. Abrams.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Tim Burton. I don't know if
Henry
he did Coraline.
Selick, actually. No, it wasn't even...
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. I like Tim Burton. I like him more as a poet and an artist. But most of his movies, with the exception of, like, one, are just remakes.
Which one?
All of them.
Because I know about like the Corpse Bride is like based on the
Corpse-
Jewish.
Oh, never mind
Tale.
then. That's the one I was gonna say.
Oh.
But, I mean, I guess if
based
it's
on the
based on like a
Jewish-
fable, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But
like apparently like he omitted the Jewish like origin point.
okay, yeah, like the Nightmare Before Christmas is I think original. But beyond that, Tim Burton
Is
is
it?
he takes stuff that someone has already done and he remakes it. And
Wait,
J.J.
wait, wait.
Abrams does the exact same thing.
Nightmare Before Christmas is original. I thought that was a book.
I'm pretty sure that's fully Tim Burton.
Really?
I might be wrong.
Okay, holy fuck. I really like because I can picture like I just am visually thinking of like a drawing of Jack Skellington that's like very penciled. Maybe
Well,
I'm
he
just-
probably drew it. That's so Tim Burton is an artist first and
well
foremost.
for sure,
Like,
but I just mean like it just feels like it was in a book. It feels like I saw it in like a book format where it wasn't even like it wasn't the
I don't
Jack
know-
Skellington that we have. It was like a Jack Skellington.
I don't know if there was an original book, but I do know that Tim Burton does have like books that are like poems and drawing. Like there's one that has like it's like the boy who has nails for eyes or something.
What the
um,
fuck?
But that's like Tim Burton started off just like as an artist and a poet, and his style is represented in things like Corpse Bride and Nightmare Before Christmas. That's his artistic style. So I do think that might be fully him. But
Okay,
regardless,
it was based on a poem that he wrote. You're right. Yeah.
okay. So outside of that, though, Tim Burton and J.J. Abrams are the kind of directors that just get famous by putting their own like quasi spin, like quasi goth spin for Tim Burton, or like or add like lens flare for J.J. Abrams. It's just add a dumb spin to it and make it your own. And that's J.J. Abrams. I think is just a big hack. Worst choice for Star Wars, I think. Anyway, sorry, I went on a tangent there.
Worst choice, I don't know, but like definitely like it was the most like basic choice they could have went with. But in a sense though,
Easy. It's an easy choice.
in a sense though, Richard, the big problem, don't we all remember that era? What was going on? Because people were getting offered this fucking movie, but they turned it down. They literally said, I don't want to do it because fuck.
Star Wars is too big, and if you fuck it up,
If you fuck this movie up, it's
some nerds are gonna have a podcast about you.
hey, look at us. Hey, what's up, people?
Whoa.
It's your boy.
McClunky.
All right, let's find something suitable to write into. I'll look up like Star Wars or something like that.
Is that even a genre on Twitch?
I mean, like, there's
Yeah.
got to be like a
Star
people playing
Wars. Like
Star
podcast
Wars
show.
games, right?
Yeah.
What Star Wars games are there now?
Fallen Order.
Well, we can always rate into someone playing the
Battlefront.
shittiest looking game in the world, which is fucking Old Republic, or no, Knights of the Old Republic. So
Ooh, I knew you were gonna do that.
you knew I was gonna, yeah, because like I always said it last
I'm like back
time,
here
but
raising my
Jesus
eyebrow, like, go on,
Christ.
go ahead, say it.
It's
I'm over here like
ugly,
Damon
I'm
from Game of
sorry.
Thrones.
Say it with your chest.
Say
Yeah,
it.
Mars Attacks, I think was
Say
directed by
it.
Tim Burton. I think that was
Yeah, it was.
crazy.
But that's a
fucking-
remake.
That's
A remake of a movie from the 50s.
I mean, I thought it was just like a play on movies from the 50s, but okay, never mind. Well, fucking hell, man! Like, they're not even giving
No,
that
I
many
disagree.
options for Star Wars games. Oh, never mind. Knights of the Old Republic. There we are. Why does Knights of the Old Republic has 2 viewers right now? Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, however, has 72. So that's funny.
KOTOR is generally considered to be the better game, though it doesn't have as good of a story.
Like, you mean the second one?
Yeah, KOTOR 2
Oh, okay.
is better gameplay wise.
Gotcha.
Just not as good of a story.
Really?
That
'Cause,
one's
like,
with
I thought it was,
Nihilus,
like,
right?
the clunkier one is what I've heard. Because wasn't it like pushed out like really quickly after the first one and not finished or something? Like
It's clunky story wise.
Okay.
Like gameplay wise, it's actually pretty damn solid. But the story, there's a lot of cut content.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I heard like the second one has issues like that, which is why I think it would be cool, like because the remake or remaster that apparently is coming out. It'd be cool if they just bundled
Never
it.
coming out.
Never coming out.
It's
Fuck.
canceled. No, they put it on hold indefinitely.
Fuck.
Yeah,
That's a shame.
never gonna happen.
That was the only way I was gonna go back and play this fucking game.
Yeah.
'Cause it looks like absolute shit.
Why would it be like
Again,
interesting?
this was the point I was gonna bring up earlier. Fuck. Okay, I'm on it. We're not ending the stream yet. Sorry. Okay.
All right.
They're not gonna like because we were talking about going back in time for a trilogy. The problem being, we all have such fucking connections to the Old Republic lore. So many people are so connected to that fucking video game series that if they change anything for the movies, if they do anything different, people are pissed just on that.
No, I
front.
agree. I don't. I think Old Republic's a bad choice. I think that they actually did the right choice, but they haven't explored it more. The High Republic
Yep,
stuff.
I've been
is,
reading
I think,
that
the
stuff.
best
Yeah,
thing they could have done.
I've been enjoying that. I haven't been able to keep up because again, like these shows and movies, they've released a lot of stuff very quickly. So it's hard to keep up with.
I think
books,
that's the right direction for Star Wars, though. Is like distance yourself from all of it.
Yeah, the High Republic's been cool. It's a really interesting era. Fucking hell, like the YouTube channels took their fucking guts out when they came out with those books, because holy shit, like just the amount of hate that they received for no real reason.
Oh
like,
yeah, nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
Hey, don't check this channel out, but I'm gonna bring it up. That Star Wars girl, you should not have that name because you hate this shit. So like her videos, she was shitting on these goddamn comic books, but then releases a fucking what would you call it, like an audio drama version of the comic book, where like
that's how she makes her money, you know.
I get
Hatred
it,
sells,
but like
man.
fucking Christ, like it's so.
Like if you're part of a fan base and you critique the shit out of it and it's nothing but negative critique, you're gonna make money on.
But
YouTube.
that's my problem with it in a sense, right? Is she's doing that, but then making this like audio drama of the comic book that she's hating on in a really well-made way. So it's like, why are you putting all this effort into like something you hate? Do you actually hate it, or are you just saying that?
Anyway, chat, before we end this stream, take a look out from my YouTube channel coming up, where I will be actively negatively critiquing all the things that I love.
Jesus Christ.
I'm only half joking.
Because to be fair, I mean, like, that is us with the things we like. I mean, I think like if you care, like, I think there's like to a point you can be like negative about something, because it does like I think it's with arguing, like it shows you care. Yeah, is the way I put it. Like, it
shows passion
weird
to me.
Yeah,
if you hate something that bad, something that isn't real, if you hate it so bad that you're going to make a YouTube video about it, it shows that you actually do love it.
To an extent, like, yes,
no, because it's like
there's the
like
difference
things about
between like the constructive criticism and then the intense hatred. I think like this intense hatred is so like money grubbing. That's what I see from that, at least. Like with what we're saying, it's like there's
part of it definitely is.
Yeah, there's part of it for sure. There's valid criticism that is coming from a place of love, and then there's a place where like it's coming from, oh, I can get a lot of fucking money because I'm making crazy intense content.
Well, I said this about like channels like the Critical Drinker or Nerdrotic are guys that normally I like, but sometimes they go so far off the hatred deep end that I'm like, you guys need to rein it back in, because like now you're just being mean.
Now you just seem like a baby, and it's like not really a good look. Dude.
Hey, like it's not real. Let's calm down. We're arguing over wizards. Chill out.
What I'll give Andor episode 7, at least at the very end here, folks, is that we were able to talk about it for, I think, long enough for AJ to come back from his meeting. So, like, let's
time to
say
go.
that, right, folks? Long enough. Thank you, Andor episode 7. We appreciate it. That was.
I think it's funny, for the one I had nothing like actually like of what to say. We were going for the longest.
We went the longest. Kaz was literally watching this episode before the goddamn stream, like with Jacob,
and like I was like you weren't there. You weren't there when I was saying, but I was like the entire universe was trying to get me not to watch this episode.
Only like 40 minutes of this episode was actually Andor, and the rest of it was just talking about other things.
Probably that's the case. We got into a very deep general discussion about things, but I think that's a good thing for us. We always do that.
It was a fun time.
I am putting the raid message in chat. We're raiding a guy who says he's playing Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, but is actually playing just the Old Republic. So I'm sorry. However, this game looks a lot better than the other one. So much better. Get those Kaz faces in there. McClunky.
Hey.
If you got the raid, or no, if you got the sub, use that because it's hilarious. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with our next session of Terrifying Territories of Roro, session 28. The boys are back, and now bye. You're also sorry. You're not just. It's the boys and the girls. And,
the boys and bye.
The boys and bye.
Boys and bye. Yeah.
And then after that on Saturday, boy howdy. Rings of Power.
B&B, baby.
Folks. Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Rings of Power discussion, full season. It goes down. We discuss the greatest calamity that our era has ever seen. It'll bring about the end of times, the end of friendships, and the raid is going on. Oh my god! So hold up, sorry.
Bye.
McClunky.
Okay. I have to pee so bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, I left